Namaste. I hope everyone's been having a wonderful week, that you're enjoying summer. This is the first week of summer since the solstice happened. Um, so I decided I wanted to jump on today and come back to a little bit of kind of why I do what I do. So one of the first questions or not, more comments that I get when I share that I'm a yoga-based coach and counselor is, oh, I love yoga and I've stopped going to class. Like I really need to go back into class, which is great. And this to me, it just shows the a limited view or definition of yoga. Um, yoga is so much more than just going to a yoga class. Traditionally, yoga itself has was a is a path for self-understanding, self-realization, knowing more of who I am. It just happens that uh, so those yoga poses, using poses, can be a doorway into that. Um, Modern yoga has kind of cherry picked a bit of these tools and techniques that are definitely helpful for general wellness and well-being. And the thing is, at least for me, from my perspective, is that's a starting point, but it's so much more. So if you've ever even left a class feeling just more grounded, centered, at peace, um, my encouragement is to continue to explore more of what yoga offers, and that's what I finally did. I took my first yoga class way back in college. It was wonderful. And then ever since then, I slowly would keep going back to classes more and more. And I found that when I was taking time to, to that hour of really being with myself, that yes, being in those poses is great, but it's really what you do while you're in those poses. Um, Drawing awareness inward, being able to explore what's happening, move patterns, like change patterns through that practice. And when I finally did my first yoga teacher training, like door was blown wide open. I was very blessed to find a teacher who is a yeah, I mean, a true dedicated yoga practitioner who is so inspirational. I mean, he lives yoga, and that I feel fortunate to. That's what's guided me. So one of the things I notice in regards to anxiety, with an anxious mind, anxious reactions, the power of traditional yoga, this broader view of practicing yoga to understand myself more, has significantly changed that ruminating mind. It's not that it's completely gone, not at all. I'm still a work in progress. Um, but when I think about where I was well over 10 years ago, compared to now, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. So the aspects of yoga that are so helpful for that ruminating mind, is when we are in the present moment, we're out of the that that oscillating mind, that dialogue, the stories, the monkey mind that that lures us into stories of the future, stories of the past, both of which we can't control, right? But being present and being right here, right now. This is what we have control over. This is where we have choice. And when thinking about anxiety, so many times anxiety really is about trying to find control, trying to control the future. So whether it's ruminating over all the what ifs, so we can try to avoid things in the future, or plan so things will go just how we want them to. Um, Worrying about things, again, it's that mind's trick of thinking if we think about it, then we can avoid it. So anxiety is a lot about that future thinking. So being able to have specific, not only tools and techniques, but over time, habits, lifestyle habits that end up transforming the very behavior of our minds. That is where the power of yoga really starts uh, to manifest. And and in that, it's I've also found the more I know myself, then the more as I show up, it doesn't matter what's happening in life. Like, I'm more clear about who I am, what my values are, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Um, so that, other people's thoughts, opinions, that's theirs. And I don't need to take that on as something um, that is necessary for me to feel more enough or worthy. Again, this is still a progress, but work in progress for me, but it has definitely changed things. So when thinking about yoga class, yes, it's yoga classes can provide so many wonderful things. Community, I mean, moving the body, just that fitness, exercise aspects. If you have a class that's wonderful that brings in breath work, that's amazing. That helps if you find a teacher who really helps with drawing awareness inward and having more of those reflections. All wonderful things. But then what happens when you leave the class, right? We go back to life as usual. So the what is important is what we do with what we've learned and experienced, and start to bring that into regular life. That is truly yoga. Um, there's a phrase I love called bhoga to yoga. So this word bhoga, it's BHOGA, bhoga, means like experience, like really experiencing things. And so we can go through life just gathering experiences, and that's what most people do. Um, but experiences come and go, right? They aren't in the essence like truth or who I am. They're just experiences. But if we use those experiences for our own understanding, our growth and learning process, that is yoga. That is transforming and using our experience as opportunities to move more and more into that self realization and self knowing. And then it's like, yes, go to yoga class. I teach yoga classes. Like, it's great. And what do you do with the other 23 hours of your life, right? In every single day. That is the part that's really important in being able to use yoga as a modality to transform the mind, this anxious, ruminating, worrying mind that's all over the place, to bring it to a more calm, centered place more and more and more and more, so that when life happens, there might be some oscillations, but quickly you can come back because you know yourself. You are aware of that. You know what practices you need to do. You know um, how to use the experiences in life for a higher purpose. That is truly yoga. So feel free to, like, if you have any questions about any of that, I'd love to have a conversation. I love talking about this, so feel free to post in the comments, or even DM me as well. I'm also in there, and we'll respond as well. So think about this. How can you, what, let me ask you this. If you have gone to a yoga class in your life, what about that yoga practice did you really resonated with you that you're like, I want more of that? How can you use your life experiences to practice cultivating more of that in your life? All right, wonderful. Have a great week. Namaste.